is on top of the Rancor monster. And then, yeah, Vader just cleans out the room, does all of his Vader stuff. And the Vader action, or the action in general, is just poor. But we get good moments. You know, where him choking Big Boy over here. Pizza the Hut. Here it is, aka Patters. Marvel Comic Books Darth Vader. 2 epic first appearances in the first 5 issues. I heard about this book for a long time. People have told me it's worth reading. I found them all for $1 a piece here in Philadelphia. Let's get into it for Revenge of the 5th. You know, the follow-up day for May the 4th be with you. Because, you know, everything's a theme now. Let's go. Alright, aka Patters, so here it is. Darth Vader, issues 1 through 4. Purchase for $1 a piece here in Philadelphia, PA. Welcome back to the channel. Peter A DeLuca here, aka Pad69, and known throughout the entire galaxy as the Eclectic One. Guys, this one was a tough read. I went into it hoping it would be great. I've heard nothing but good things about even this character, Dr. Aphra, Black Krrsantan, the giant Wookiee bounty hunter that we all fell in love with during the Boba Fett Disney Plus show. His first appearance is issue 1. So in 5 issues, we have 2 major first appearances. And then I read it, and then it's like this whole thing with this long form storytelling, giant wide panels, pleasurable to read, but at the same time lacking in entertainment and value. At $4 a piece, I was upset. If I was following this month to month, shelling out that $4 each every single month, I would have been pissed, because some of these issues are very fast reads. This is why we have to add value to the money spent. This is something that has eroded within American comics. And reading this, I felt guilty because Salvador Larroca, I was there when he came up. I absolutely love his Fantastic Four run. I'm not crazy about some of his DC stuff, because in my mind, he belongs in Marvel. But, you know, sometimes people jump to ship, and I like having that company-to-company rivalry. I will never forgive Jim Lee for never drawing a monthly Marvel book ever again. I just won't. I can't do it, guys. But Salvador, he just flat out traces. And so I hit the internet, I did a couple searches, it's all over Reddit. People complained about his technique as soon as these books dropped. But despite all of that, issues 1 and issues 3 shot up in value substantially. Issue 1 was going through the roof during the entire boat. And, you know, after that first episode of Boba Fett where we saw Black Krrsantan premiere, and his initial shot in Book of Boba Fett, like when you first see him, that is nothing but, that is exactly what we're talking about in Star Wars. And speaking of Book of Boba Fett, this came out years before Book of Boba Fett, and you kind of want to say memos went out with what they were expecting from Star Wars Disney Plus, Star Wars Marvel. And by this I mean, like, cyborgs. We go after the biker gang from Book of Boba Fett. Some people like them, some people love them. There's cyborgs here, and they look very similar to the Book of Boba Fett biker gang. And you kind of want to say, again, are the way how Dr. Aphra is portrayed, the way that we're introduced to her, very much like Rey from Force Awakens. Mary Sue does nothing wrong, no fear, whatever. Like, you can solve any problem. We want to say, is the material learning from itself? Is there directives? Is there memos? These are real questions. But overall, I was disappointed with Darth Vader, and I always question doing videos like this because I don't like just to punch down on things or punch up or punch the nuts of some of the stuff we review, but I do feel like it's valuable because I do want to share my experience and my time with this book with all of you. I feel like it should be documented, and we just don't love bomb here, and I feel like that should also be documented. So aka Padders, let's hit that drawing table. Revenge of the Fifth, the follow-up to May the Fourth Be With You. We're not done with Star Wars. Do you guys like the red? You know, because Vader's got a red lightsaber. AKA Padders, welcome back to the drawing table. Got some nice iced coffee here. Excuse the mess. We're back to being all-time busy with illustration commissions. Guys, rocking and rolling. It's always a pleasure to have you, all of you, back to my place of solace. This is where I work out all of my emotional problems by drawing and working out. Reading comics, guys. My used bookstore in Philly, they really do. They come in clutch because they give me access to books like this that I normally would just ignore. I get access to books like this. I paid $1 a piece for these. I knew that 1 and 3 were the key issues. At one time, number 1 here, because it's here, I'll show you, because it's the first appearance of our boy here that showed up in the Book of Boba Fett. Now, continuity wise, right? Book of Boba Fett takes place way after this, I think. Right? And Boba Fett's with Black Krrsantan, I believe, is how we really pronounce his Krrsantan. What about Black Krrsantan? I don't know. Maybe we got a couple big iterations of the SH. And then 3 has the Doctor here. And this babe here is an archaeologist. She's part Mentat from Dune, and part Indiana Jones, and part Darth Vader simp, or like fangirl. And then we get Salvador Larroca doing the artwork here. Salvador is tracing models. I don't know how we're getting to the artwork on this. I'm 50-50 on the quality of the production for this. I don't know why. I'm just not in. I just think it looks motionless. Like, let me know in the comments. To me, this looks like a motionless mess. Other points of story. We have this astromech that's like this assassin droid that can just take out like a entire base or starship. And then we get this evil C-3PO, right? Should that be at the end of this issue? We see him on the cover. But we get evil C-3PO. See, like, there's the astromech. But you guys can see where the artwork just looks stiff. But everything I'm talking about presents well in a weird way. Some of these issues are not worth the $4 price tag. I think the coloring is too airbrushed. The color selection's good. The mood's good. Like, even here, like, we can kind of see we're very similar to where we were in Empire Strikes Back. You know, like, it's just some giant room, you know? Some, what, not Chris Floss, right? Chris Floss inspired spaceships, starship design. But it looks just stiff. I did like this panel, though, where it looks like she's, like, whispering into his ear. but she's just like, basically fixing him up. And we get this character. The way how Darth Vader is characterized in this is nothing but odd. It's just odd. He's just like too conversational. He's a little bit like a wimp. The only time we see Darth Vader that should get bossed around should be Star Wars New Hope. Or as we call it, Star Wars. But I heard a lot about this girl. I heard she was a great character. Heard it from like years worth, multiple sources. Publication wise, I think we're at 45 issues for this. So this is roughly a 5-year series. Is it cinematic format? Somewhat of a double-sized issue 1. Yeah, like this is cinema style. Okay, this is the ultimate Brian Hitch style here, and I love this. I feel every issue should begin like this. I get it. The series begins like this because then we're embarking on this journey, but I think every single issue should begin like this because this is so impactful. The crawls are nice. And, we get these things. We're like very similar to Return of the Jedi, opening of Return of the Jedi here. And we get Darth Vader. I mean, this is what I mean about things just looking stiff. We don't even need the toothbrush of truth here. Salvador Larroca at one time drew the preeminent hands in comics. You really clear with his work on Uncanny X-Men. Or was it adjectiveless X-Men? But again, you see, we get just a lot of this looks traced, but we get some great colors though. The moods here, who is the colorist? I feel like the colorist needs more attention here. Edgar Delgado. Yeah. There. Yeah, so Vader goes to see Jabba the Hutt. They go back and forth. Jabba's like, you gotta clear the room. And, Vader kind of needs something from Jabba the Hutt. They go back and forth between using mind control, Jedi mind tricks. They tease that Vader is on top of the Rancor monster. And then, Vader just cleans out the room, does all of his Vader stuff. And the Vader action, or the action in general, is just poor. But we get good moments. Where him choking Big Boy over here. Pizza the Hutt. One day earlier, I hate it when we do things like this. I just don't understand how we have to stick to the tradition of Star Wars being serialized, not having flashbacks, always going forward. And we only go backwards when we, just do a story that takes place differently within the timeline. Never a fan of any flashback in Star Wars. But then we get like flashback. They talk a little bit of these rebels. And, we're torturing for information. And Vader knows something's up with the Emperor. He's like, you're kind of keeping something from me. Like, who's this guy? So Vader's essentially going to, and the Emperor's like, hey, I was expecting you. Is there anything else to report? And then we just flash back to New Hope. So whatever. See, it betrays the idea that the Emperor, I don't know, aka Patters, I hate doing walkthroughs like this where there's very little to like. I just feel like it does a disservice to everyone involved with this book. I've debated having the policy of only bringing to you what I can kind of like pump the stock. I need to be able to champion something. I feel like there's more, I'm more effective that way. But look, Luke Skywalker here with a porno face. We're not getting into focus here. Why is that? What are we doing here with the camera? Right here. Porno face Luke Skywalker. But we get this god-awful flashback. Get some nice Vader rendering. But it's like the rendering and the cool shots. Like the cool shots. They're just not there. It's not enough. Earlier when I said that the book reads well, we're making this purposeful letterbox decision. No one's ever said that Star Wars is better in letterbox. We've absorbed so many different formats of all of the movies. No one cares about Star Wars in letterbox, but it creates a certain consistency in the flow. It's a pleasurable page-turning experience because we're dedicated. But the here with the cyborg dude, okay, Vader's like, hey, I feel like you're keeping things from me, and Emperor's like, look, you dog, just like go off. So it's like we're crapping on Vader, and then Vader kind of hires Boba Fett and Black Krrsantan to hunt down some people that he needs. And then we see that he got revenge on the sane people. So, okay. Yeah, so this is before Empire Strikes Back, I guess, right? Just based on that. People told me this series was good. Getting Imperial shuttle, getting attacked by some pirates. Yeah, and you can see just by the word balloons. This is how quick of a read this is. Vader comes through, does some Vader flying, gets back onto the ship, and we get some nicely traced panels here, some images from the movie. Right? Nicely traced. Salvador tracing. One time, Salvador Larroca was a preeminent inheritor of the throne, post-image era ass kicker in American comics. And he is gotta be digital, gotta be awful. And then we get this back and forth. So it's kind of cool. Like what they're doing here, I hate that they now call everything like a Corvette. Ugh. Like Rogue One, like bad effect with Rogue One, but now like every one of these they gotta call it a Corvette. But they're going to do like a reverse thing that the Rebels did to them. They're going Trojan Horse, a Rebel blockade runner Corvette, and they're going to get into the Rebel base and nuke it. So that's cool. And yeah, a little bit back and forth, and we get this like moment where Vader needs to get inside of another floating fortress. They have these power droids. You know, a good note, the power droids are kind of like ripping through the stormtroopers. But Vader does Vader things while the evil astromech droid, yeah, gets outside of the base. And then the astro droid just nukes it. So there we go. And then Vader gets to one of the people. He gets to the general. He goes, he kind of does like a switcheroo. He's like, this guy was the spy because they put a spy on Vader, which is also like oddly, it's uncharacteristic. Where he like they appoint like Vader's like reporting to this guy, and this dude's nothing, but Vader like nopes him by the end. So okay. Issue 3. This is so this girl. What the heck's her name? Dr. Aphra. Dr. Aphra. So, I don't know, guys. This is where I want my mentats to be. I want my mentats to be in Dune. Okay? Right here. Thufir Hawat. Mentat. Mentats are human computers, and this girl is way too... She's too much of a Mary Sue, I have to say. But she sneaks into this, you know, like we introduce her the same way we introduce Rey. She knows about technology. She can sneak into things. She knows all kinds of stuff. She's got some destroyer droids here. Goes back and forth, and Vader like basically shows up, saves her. And you know, we get these like really weird like interactions with her and Vader. But yeah, she's kind of like, you know, her part of her gig, I guess, is she brings these death level droids to life. And so this one like pops all the and like Vader like draws the saber as this astro droid like pops and wakes up with all these weapons. And you know, like there's nothing cool about Vader popping the saber. There's like, it's not even a moment. And then she kind of has this like Stockholm syndrome moment where she's just like broken, but she kind of like pledges her alliance with Vader. And we can kind of tell just by some of the body language. And yeah, let me give credit to Salvador here. He draws the body language to be a little bit sensual. And then she's, you know, they're like, we gotta go to Geonosis. So they go to Geonosis. And this is them trying to pump the stock of Geonosis. Again, our action sequences are horrible. But in Geonosis, there's like, one of the Geonosis bugs is like mech merged. And is like giving birth to Geonosis droids that we see earlier here. See, they're droid robots, but they're Geonosis flying bugs that we saw in episode 2. And this is a great moment. When they get to Geonosis, Dr. Aphra is like, hey, you know, have you ever been to Geonosis? And we flash back to Decus before they go into the arena. Like, really, like, again, like, good stuff. There's a good flow here. Like, Salvador Larroca does, even on this page. It's layered to read and you know what's happening. You know, like, there's superior storytelling instincts here. The illustrative quality of it all isn't appealing. But, yeah, so we get to this, like, somewhat Hive Mother Genosha alien woman thing that's, like again, just like out of James Cameron's Aliens. And, you know, Vader just, like, nukes everyone. Because he's looking to make his own army. And he steals, like, the queen to make his own army. So he's going to have a Genosha bug droid army because he stole the queen. And, you know, Black Krrsantan shows up with one of the people. He's like, hey, the Emperor told you to go somewhere. Where were you going and what were you doing? They killed this guy. The guy dies. They torture him to death. And we find out that he can kind of, just like Spartan, if you guys been watching Wildstorm Wednesdays, he can transport his consciousness. So he becomes number 5. And then these are, like, I guess, like, these are Greys. And Vader confronts Silo 5. The previous was Silo 4. Or Kylo. Kylo 5 or Kylo 4. Which is cool. Like, I always feel like when you try and pronounce and read, like, Star Wars names, you should never be able to nail it. You know? It should always be a little bit of an effort. But then it's like, we find out that whatever this guy's cooking up, it's like Force-sensitive type soldiers. The Emperor's there. But then, like, the Emperor is just, like, he's, like, drawn in. And then, I guess we end with Vader having to confront him. So the issue 6 is going to start with them fighting, I think. I would assume. And, like, that's it. So we have 5 months, $4 a piece. A lot of effort to do this drawn out story where Darth Vader is recruiting help, using Empire resources for help, subverting the Emperor to do something. We're not really sure what Vader's mission is, and the Emperor is experimenting other means outside of Vader, because Silo 5 makes a point. Like, and this is like interesting. You know, he says, he's like, I believe Vader should just be a figurehead as the number 2. But you know, like, I have the solutions to move forward, and we have to go all in. And that's where the Emperor is like, well, let's just test both of you guys. So this is somewhat of a story with like Vader maybe proving himself more to the Emperor. But this is also after Vader has slayed and destroyed all the Jedi. So didn't he already do that? This is just weak, bad, lazy. I want to say there's a lot of like a Star Wars memo that shows up in here. And by that, I mean there's a clear direction to drift away from the Force. There's a clear direction in introducing prominent female characters. And I'm not saying, I don't know what Dr. Aphra does after issue 5. She could go off to like bigger, better things storyline wise. Character wise, not very interested. But we do see a lot of like the Disney Star Wars in this. And no one, people they only want to act like it's only in like the movies and the streaming. But it's here, and it doesn't mean the story doesn't move and it's not entertaining. But for 5 months worth of work at $4 a piece, we don't get a lot. And we get characters that did resonate. I'm not going to, I concede that. Black Krrsantan, right? And Dr. Aphra. But thank you, used bookstores, because I would never paid retail for this. I would never, or paid aftermarket value. I would never have bought the trades or looked into the trades. But Revenge of the Sith, baby.